up in the 2010s was truly an amazing experience. I mean, technically I spent multiple years of my childhood in the 2000s, but let's be real, your child brain is pretty much on autopilot until you're like 5, and you suddenly gain consciousness and start to form memories. And in these early years of growth and temper tantrums, we were lucky enough to have been blessed with some of the best forms of entertainment that have ever been created. I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, I loved Hot Wheels cars. Bro, I was down bad for these toy cars too. I remember going to stores and seeing like those big Hot Wheels bins near the checkout lines and feeling like I just won the lottery. Of course, being the greasy little kid that I was, I had no money. So I would beg and plead for my mom to spare a couple bucks for me to get a car that looked like a fucking solar panel and another one that was literally just R2-D2. There was no better feeling than getting in the car after going grocery shopping with my mom and opening up my toy cars in the backseat of our minivan. And you already know my mom had the bangers playing on the radio. I would be rocking out to Starships by Nicki Minaj like my life depended on it, bro. Hot Wheels weren't the only thing I would beg for either. Pokemon cards were like the holy grail when I was in elementary school. And you know damn well I had to run my mom's pockets for those EX packs too. Now usually I would leave empty-handed or with a small pack, but on special occasions when I would get that big ass tin, I would be so happy, man. Me and the boys would link up at Aftercare and flex on each other with our Pokemon card binders. Sometimes even a high stakes trade would go down, and the boys would treat it like we were trading $1 million art pieces or some shit. I actually still have an old Charizard card that would actually probably be worth something if I didn't bend it and throw it around like a boomerang. And while we're on the topic of collectibles, I have to also mention Go-Go's Crazy Bones. I used to go crazy, no pun intended, for these things, man.
Boy, if you don't get...
I had a whole clear container that I would bring with me places to flex on everyone with my Gold Series Go-Go's Crazy Bones. Like I was really out here doing the most. Next, I want to talk about the Nintendo DS. There was nothing like grinding some classics on the DS when you were supposed to be sleeping. Some of the few that I can remember were Pokemon Conquest, Luigi's Mansion, Hot Wheels, Mario Party, Lego Batman, Lego Star Wars, Pokemon X and Y, and there's plenty of others that I'm sure I'm forgetting. I remember putting in the work on Pokemon Conquest, man. In my opinion, this was the most underrated Pokemon game that has ever been released, and I wish I still had my DS so I could play it again. I would play all night and stay up way past my 9 p.m. bedtime, trying to get to the end of this game. I thought I was so slick hiding my DS under my pillow and pretending to be asleep every time my mom walked into my room. But I know damn well now that she knew what was going on the whole time. I would give anything to go back to those days, man. And we can't forget about the Wii either, bro. I was on that Wii Sports and Mario Kart grind for real. And the Skylanders, bro. Skylanders was one of the most innovative games of its time. And one of the most expensive, too. Like, these guys were really out here making us young fellas drop all of our birthday money on toys that you put on a portal to use in a video game. Like, they really had no other function except that you could use them in the game if you spend your parents' hard-earned $20 on Toys R Us on some little plastic ball of lava. Now, I have to address the undisputed greatest movie of all of our childhoods, Cars. This movie will forever be goated, bro.
GOAT! The GOAT!
I remember chilling with my cousins. All of us had our little spill-proof cups. We were just mesmerized by this movie, man. Of course, there were some other honorable mentions, but nothing came close to taking the throne from this cinematic masterpiece. Back to the topic of toys. Did y'all ever have one of those Rainbow Loom kits when you were growing up? I swear I used to be crafting up the most colorful, unwearable pieces of shit that you could possibly imagine. And these things would take hours too, like it was not an easy process. These also remind me of those silly bands things that were also popular around this time. And you know I had to have those too.
No, ain't no my fault. Run your pockets, yo.
For what?
Don't kick them bitches out, yo.
For what?
No,
All this plastic jewelry had me looking like I was part of the Kids Bop Migos or some shit. There were some undefeated books back then too. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Big Nate, Bones, No David, Curious George, Captain Underpants, Calvin and Hobbes, Magic Treehouse, and plenty more. Nowadays, kids don't have any books as good as we had growing up. I mean, like, come on, what the f***? We also can't forget that the air just smelled better back then. Like, everything just felt so much more fresh and clean. And I know I'm not the only one who has experienced the peace of waking up to the sound of these birds on an early morning. while a nice breeze wafts in through your room on a gorgeous summer day. You may hear a lawnmower far in the distance as you get ready to go downstairs, eat breakfast, and watch cartoons. Life was truly simpler then, man. Leave a comment down below if there's any other nostalgic things from this era that I forgot to mention.
Toothpaste ad once.
Thanks for watching, subscribe.